So it's Miss McMillan, and I am going to show you how to do a surrealist example. So before starting my sketch, I'm going to look at the instructions. So this is the Unit 5 Sketchbook 5.18 Surrealism or Modernism in Architecture Inspired. And so that you have the choice between Surrealism or Modernism in Architecture, I'm going to choose Surrealism, and that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to use paints, the acrylic K12 paints, and also some markers, which are just any kind of water soluble markers. I got these in the kids section. They're Crayola Pipsqueaks. And I'm going to draw with markers and then put water over it so it turns into watercolor. But I'm also going to use the acrylics. You can use collage, you could do a digital drawing, you could do colored pencil, you could even do this in pencil. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because color is good to translate the place of dreams, and that's what Surrealism is all about. But when I look at the characteristics of Surrealism, it doesn't really mention color, so it's up to you. So I'm going to choose Surrealism to spend an hour creating my sketchbook, because I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill my page or have significant details so that it justifies a little bit of lacking of finished background, and it's going to have three significant elements relating it to Surrealism. So already here, this characteristics of modernism in architecture, I'm just going to cross it out because I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is characteristics of Surrealism. Okay, so they are: delved into dreams to fashion a world of strange creatures and odd juxtapositions of everyday objects. Powers of the unconscious mind, believe that dreams express the person's innermost unedited thoughts. Automatism, which is drawing spontaneously without thinking about what you're doing. And scenes of fantasy rendered with precision and detail. Okay, so surreal means fantastic, hallucinatory, dreamlike, or bizarre. So I'm going to include those things in my drawing. It's going to be fun, it's going to be dreamlike. And the surrealists that I really love a lot, and they were my favorites when I was in art school, in high school. And I loved Salvador Dali and Max Ernst the best. Your lesson talks about Juan Miro, and one thing that he did was he was inspired by a postcard by another artist, and he just transformed it completely into surrealism. But I like Max Ernst, and one thing that Ernst did was he did these monochromatic backgrounds, and it's the way that he probably did it is by putting paint on glass, or maybe he did it meticulously. But I happen to know that you can do this monoprinting. I think he did it meticulously, but I happen to know that you can do this monoprinting. So what Max Ernst did with monoprinting is you have a surface, you put paint on it, and then you put the painting over, and maybe he used a little printing tool for more precision. But I'm just going to try it with this piece of plastic, a piece of cling wrap. I think that you could also do it with a piece of aluminum foil, so I'm going to try that too. I'm just going to use things that you're likely to have. A plastic bag. The point of it is to get, or another way would be to maybe put the paint down and then do that. The point of it is that you want these crinkles in the bag to create valleys and canyons of a landscape on your paper. So I'm going to start by using some acrylic paint. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know what, I think that it'll be better if I put it on the paper. So I'm going to keep the rule of thirds in mind as I do this, and I'm also going to keep in mind that I want some big spaces left open that I can do something more Dali inspired with markers. And again, you don't have to be inspired by anyone except yourself if you're doing surrealism, but you do need to include the characteristics, 2 or 3 of them, and that would be doing something kind of spontaneous, and doing something dreamlike, scenes of fantasy. You kind of decide which specific ones to put in, but always check your instructions. The characteristics are on there, and that's a big part of the lesson, is to include the style that we've just studied, or that you will be studying next week. now. I just decided to put a lobster tail here, and that is okay. I did not have that planned. Surrealists. I'm putting in a dreamscape, and I'm doing it kind of automatically. It's definitely not reality. Okay. Like the way that was looking, and I decided to cut them out. You don't have to do this. This is just because my composition didn't look good, and I'm kind of a 3D person anyway, and try with any water painting you do. Salt, this is kosher salt, but any salt will do. This is all I have left. Okay, so this is the next day, and I wiped off, I just did I used my hand and I wiped off all the salt. Oops, I just got some water on it. Whoops, be careful with that. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to put my cutouts on it. And again, you don't have to do cutouts for this. It's just what I ended up doing. And I like it. It was fun, and now it's going to be pretty easy to quickly put them on. My favorite Mod Podge, but you can use any kind of glue. This just happens to dry clear and probably took me less than 10 minutes, and then I just put some heavy things on my paper to hold it down for a few minutes, and now it's done, and I'm pretty happy with the results. I ended up putting kind of like a cat over in the corner with the landscape, and I drew an eye, and my floating mountains turned into an ear. And whenever I felt like adding in little dreamscapes like that, I did. So that's what this project is all about. Just go with the flow. You don't have to have a composition in mind. You do not have to do a collage. You can do a painting, a digital drawing, a drawing. Mine just morphed into a collage. I really didn't have an intention of doing that, but it turned out that that was for the best. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty fun. So I hope you enjoy it too. Bye-bye.